mindset with more intention, and we assert ourselves at scale. 22,000 people just since April. Project Roomkey, we believe, has been a phenomenal success, not only because of their support, but because of the support of many of you that are assembled here on this Zoom call. That are the real doers in the counties and cities all across the state. But we recognize Roomkey was a temporary construct. It was an emergency construct where we were able to, in partnership with FEMA, through this COVID response, address the needs of our most vulnerable individuals that were in congregate settings or out there on the streets and sidewalks, and help them get into a place they can call their home with a key, a room, a door, and a lock, and to provide a health construct, not just a safety frame, to help them off the streets. The goal that we want to advance today, and we want to update you in terms of our efforts, is the next iteration from Roomkey to Homekey. And today I couldn't be more pleased and proud that we are announcing our 5th tranche of money that we are sending to the cities and counties today, an additional $30.7 million. You'll hear in a moment from a remarkable leader, chairman. The Yurok community is here, a tribal partner that has been critical in terms of supporting efforts, not only for his tribal community, but also amplifying the imperative for tribal communities across the state to be at the table, sovereign to sovereign, nation to nation, supporting our efforts to address the issue of homelessness and poverty. And I'll ask Chairman James in a moment to speak about that, but he is one of the beneficiaries on behalf of his community, beneficiary of this new contribution, San Luis Obispo and LA as well, but a total of 600 now in $27 million. $627 million has been distributed just since July in the Project Homekey effort. This is lightning speed for government. This is scale of resources we have never put out for permanent, temporary, and transitional housing in the state's history. And I'm really proud of that. 71 projects, 45 jurisdictions that are benefiting from this program. We're not just concentrating all in LA and the Bay Area. We're getting out into communities all across the state of California. And so again, forgive me for being long-winded, but I'm really proud of this effort. And I know it's not solving everything. I'm not naive, but it's a big step in the right direction. And the real innovation is at the local level. And you're going to hear from Supervisor Placer County, my supervisor up there, that has been doing some heroic work in a moment as well, about the work that she has done to really amplify this effort. But again, rural California, smaller communities, populations less than 600,000 that have not been part of this equation in the past. We're trying to right that wrong. We're trying to move in this new, more enlightened direction. We have a lot of leaders that are eager to speak. And let me just start again with Chairman James, the Yurok tribe, beneficiary of this new project, but not a beneficiary of the state's largesse, a recipient of an innovative project, a recipient of funds because of an innovative project that the chairman, through his leadership, advanced. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you. And maybe you could talk a little bit about it and a little bit about what you hope to produce from this Homekey support.
Absolutely, Governor. First of all, I want to say thank you, Governor. Thank you, Mr. McGuire, representing us. Much respect, and thank you for all the hard work and everybody, all our elected officials and staff. You said it's a big step. It's huge for us. Before I dig into that, I want to say thank you to our Executive Director of Housing Authority, Nicole Sager. I got Peggy O'Neill, our Fiscal Director, our Yurok County Housing Authority Board, our partnership with the Arcata Housing Partnership. Also want to give a thank you to Terry Sapon with True North, a local advocacy group funded by the California Endowment Foundation. But just to continue that discussion, Mr. Governor Newsom, it's huge for us to address homelessness for our tribal members during the middle of a pandemic. How we started this is the York County Housing or the Arcata House Partnership were brought together by Terry Sapon, as I mentioned, through a local advocacy group funded by the California Endowment Foundation. The Arcata House Partnership applied for this Home Key grant and to purchase a local hotel, and that's where the Yurok tribe worked jointly with them in submitting this application. The Yurok tribe is the largest tribe in the state of California, and Native Americans represent the largest group of homeless residing in Humboldt County according to the annual report of Time Count. The Yurok Indian Housing Authority and Arcata House Partnership co-wrote and submitted this Home Key grant application. Key, critical, couldn't come at a better time. The need for our tribal citizens, homelessness, having the opportunity to provide vocational training. You've got veterans. It hits on so many levels and checks the box. And it's just the start, right? You mentioned the next phase, and so we look being part of that success story. So this is a highlight and a success story for ourselves here at home, and we look forward to the continued growth of this. As part of this, we'll be able to, the Yurok Indian Housing, we'll be able to refer tribal members to Arcata, the Arcata House Partnership to fill vacancies. And again, this project will allow the Yurok tribe to enhance housing opportunities for its most vulnerable population, the chronic homeless who are most risk for COVID-19 and poor outcomes. And again, I just can't say how proud I am as a Yurok tribal leader, as a tribal chairman, knowing that how hard our staff is working on the ground to address homelessness. And it is we have quite a few, and not just Yuroks, but natives across the board to provide shelter for them. We as Indian people always says, feed your people, put a roof over them, take care of them. And I thank you everybody for this. And again, it's a highlight for us, and it's a proud moment for us, for our staff. Our tribal membership have said this a number of times, our people need help, take care of them. And that's what we do as Indian people, especially as Yurok people, prayer people, dance people. And so, and again, I heard the news yesterday, talking with our Staffing Housing Authority, very delighted and proud of what the state of California has done to address this. And we look forward to continue working with our partners here at the local level, partnering with other grant applications, and look forward to the continuing support this. We'll support this through the state of California. And Mr. Governor, and I want to say thank you. It's huge for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and we're just proud of you. Just remind everybody that may not be familiar, what makes this different is there's a time pressure that we're all under to invest these dollars wisely and thoughtfully with an innovative mindset to get something tangible and real done by the end of the calendar year. And the applications we're supporting, the programs we're supporting, are people that are doing just that. And so that's what makes this so profoundly different. And so thank you, Mr. Chairman, for, again, your demonstrable leadership and your example. Another person I want to recognize is Senator McGuire, who I know has been working so hard to support the broader issue of addressing homelessness, and has been for years and years and years. But in particular work, Senator, you've been doing up in Santa Rosa. And I think some of the fruits of those efforts are now already underway. I think you were a recipient of some resources through Home Key in the last tranche. But again, your leadership has been exceptional, and I'm very grateful you took the time, Senator, to join us here today as well.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Governor, and I got to tell you, it's an honor to be with you, and so appreciate this opportunity. I want to say good afternoon to the chairman, Mr. Chair. It's always wonderful to see you, to the Assembly member, supervisor, and all who are with us today. Thank you. Look, rural California, like much of rural America, faces incredible challenges, and Governor Newsom focuses in on it. We have some of the highest rates of childhood poverty, opioid usage, and unemployment, and yes, homelessness. And I think we need to be candid, as the governor always is. Sacramento has not always focused. We have not always focused as we should have in rural communities, and it's shameful. But not Governor Newsom and not this legislature. But working with the legislature, the governor has made it his mission to invest where we need it most. It's both urban and rural communities. And this approach has always been data-driven. I want to give some perspective. Just 6 years ago, when I was sworn into the state Senate, not one dime of state homelessness funding was invested north of Sonoma County. Yeah. Today, it's now tens of millions of dollars. And behind the beauty of the North Coast, in which I proudly represent, lies some ugly statistics. Humboldt County has the highest population per capita of homeless residents in the Golden State, the third highest in America, in our nation. Lake County has the highest percentage of unsheltered homelessness in America. And I could go on, but I want to finish with the story of change. And that's why we are all here today. And I think it's important that we focus on this story of positive change in this incredibly challenging year that is 2020. Project Roomkey, it's bringing hope. It's bringing hope and new opportunities to rural counties and small communities. And it's showing them that they're not forgotten. It's showing rural California that this state, the state that is the 5th largest economy in the world, that we as Californians will partner to tackle one of the toughest challenges that our communities face, no matter if you live in Crescent City or in the bustling streets of downtown Los Angeles. And what this money does, it shows that we're going to invest in changing lives through permanent supportive housing, expanded mental health programming, and substance abuse counseling. And Mr. Governor, finally, I know that there is much more work ahead for all of us, but it's more important than ever, in the height of this worst recession that we've seen since the Great Depression, that we invest in the people and the programs that have made California traditionally so strong. And I want to say thank you for including us, and I'm grateful to be with you and for your leadership, sir.
No, wonderful. Thank you, Senator. Thanks for everything you're doing. And let me now pass this on to Assemblymember Rivas, who also been a champion, particularly of farm worker housing. We talk about housing. We often neglect the essential nature of an essential workforce here in the state of California. Farm worker housing, been a champion, a leader for years and years. And Assemblymember, thank you for all your hard work, and thank you for your support. Moreover, thank you for your advocacy on behalf of not only constituents you represent, but more broadly, those that go often underrepresented.
Absolutely. First off, it's great to be here, to be part of this roundtable and this discussion. Really here, really appreciate the words of my colleague, Mr. McGuire, who, as you mentioned, Mr. Governor, has been a champion of housing. So it's been, myself as a first-term member of the State Assembly, it's been a pleasure to work with him and really learn from him around these really important issues on housing and homelessness. But first, I want to thank our governor, really for, not only this invitation, but for bringing us together. But more importantly, Mr. Governor, for your leadership, not only on this issue, but so much more. As we all know, this has been an unprecedented year. And, all things that, have occurred this year, enough can't be said about your commitment, your resolve to help so many of our residents here in California who can't afford housing, who can't afford decent rents. Every day it seems that more people in our state are pushed into homelessness. And as a former county supervisor, now, as I mentioned in my first term in the, as a member of the California Assembly, there is no easy a solution to solve our state's housing crisis, our homelessness, and both of which have only been amplified by COVID-19. And this is all the more reason that we need to be hitting this problem from multiple angles. And clearly, we need to be creative. And having myself grown up in poverty, I grew up in overcrowded housing. Homelessness is an issue that I care very deeply about. And I've seen how hard it is for people to escape it when they lack the necessary supports, the necessary resources. And housing and homelessness here in our state it absolutely is a moral crisis. And it's a crisis that's only been made worse by COVID-19. And take, for example, the largest, the city in the district I represent. It's the city of Salinas, sorry. almost 40% of students, 40% of students at Sherwood Elementary School are classified as homeless. And in fact, more than 50% of the County of Monterey's homeless residents live in Salinas. So far too many of my constituents and constituents like mine here in California are struggling with homelessness and with housing insecurity. Again, that was prior to our global pandemic. I'm happy to say that Project Roomkey will absolutely make a profound difference for many of these people. Just recently, the city was granted over $9 million through Project Roomkey to convert an old hotel into living units. And this funding, this program now means that over 100 people will get off the streets. But more importantly, they're going to get help. One of the most important aspects of this project is including access to wraparound services like healthcare and social services that will help folks transition off of the streets and do so permanently. That's important to the city. It's important to the district I represent. It's important to our state. And much of which here in the district I represent is agricultural and it's rural. When you're homeless and you're living in the rural parts of California, it can be hard to find services. You may lack access to transportation. It's harder for government and nonprofits to reach you. And so wraparound services are really, really crucial for rural homeless. I want to thank you, Governor, for recognizing that rural districts often have much different needs than urban ones. And far too often it's our rural regions which are underfunded, and we're often left behind. We're forgotten when it comes to services and resources. And Project Roomkey truly is a life-changing and a life-saving program. And it'll absolutely make a lasting difference long after this pandemic is over. And I thank you for taking this very, very bold action. It's hard work to do something like this, finding the money, trying to create solutions, working with a diverse coalition. That's incredibly difficult. That's hard. But you, Governor, and the rest of my colleagues in the legislature, we're putting in the work to truly make a difference for our state and for our districts and for our homeless population. And so really appreciate being here.
Travis, thank you. Thank you for all your comments and thanks for reminding us this is hard work. And at the end of the day, any vision, whatever the vision may be, is realized somewhere. And in this case, it's realized at the local level, counties large and small. And as a former supervisor, you understand it. As a former supervisor myself, we also understand the power and potency and influence of supervisors. And that's why I'm proud to have one of our favorite who represents, Placer County, I can't say is the bluest county in California. I'm not sure it's the most progressive county in California, but you know what? It's a county that I care deeply about. It's a county where my father lived for half a century, a good part of my life I grew up in. And I am accountable to everybody, people that supported me, people oppose me. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican. I want to be there for folks, and I want to be there for Placer County. You've been there for us as a constituent. And so, Supervisor, let me thank you for all your good work, and thank you for being on with us as well.
Oh, thank you, Governor. And yes, your leadership, your commitment, and your keen focus on this issue is making our state such a better place. We can't thank you enough for your leadership. And thanks to all of you for participating today. It's an honor to be here with all of you. Homelessness is in every corner of our state. And I think all too often we forget the rural communities, Governor. And thank you so much for remembering us and working so hard, Senator and Assembly Member and Governor, on this issue. Often in the rural areas, people can hide and they can camp in the woods, and they cannot be as visible to the rest of our community of the challenges that they're facing, and especially in the High Sierra. I mean, both in the foothills, but especially in the High Sierra, where you often don't think people could survive a winter. They are doing it. And unfortunately, they're not doing it well. And we have seen a doubling in the population of homelessness in Eastern Placer County just in the last year. It's probably more than that now due to COVID, and we are working hard with our nonprofits and through collaborations to address that issue. While many Californians come to recreate in our rural areas and enjoy all the activities that we have, homelessness is part of our life and a growing crisis for us. This partnership through Roomkey is incredible for us, and we look at conversion of a motel in Kings Beach, California, right adjacent to our community house that houses 3 of our nonprofits, along with our community foundation, providing services and wraparound services for all. This hotel is right behind that facility and is going to offer us 14 rooms that we can renovate. And for the state's investment, this would not happen without the state's investment and your commitment. We've never had an emergency shelter in Eastern Placer County up in the Sierra, and now we are going to have one. And we are so pleased to be able to address this issue through your leadership and the collaboration with our nonprofits. AMI Housing is going to be operating it for us, and we'll have a 55-year lease, long-term commitment to continuing to address these issues. And being right next door to our services with the Sierra Community House is an incredible opportunity to really make this seamless to those most vulnerable and who need our help. So again, Governor, thank you. Thanks for the state's leadership in this. Homelessness is all of our problems in every single corner of this state, and we just can't thank you enough.
No, that's wonderful, Supervisor. Thank you for everything you're doing. And more importantly, I think for all the folks that are on this call, thank you for being accountable. And forgive me for saying that, but I say this all the time. This is an issue where so many people point fingers and pass the buck. We're good at criticizing, complaining, and saying it's someone else's problem, or coulda, shoulda, woulda, or 40 years of this, or 40. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have ownership here. And what I love is you just described part of the state. Again, it's never had those supported services, because I imagine there were some folks sort of pushing back saying, you know what, that's not our issue. That's someone else's problem. So I love that, you're stepping up, and all of you, but we're here to not just highlight these leaders that are in positions of formal authority, the chairman, senator, assembly member, and supervisor, but 2 other leaders, Jackie and Benito, and you'll know why I say leaders in a moment. We'll start with Jackie, who a mother, someone who's had a remarkable journey, Jackie, in your own life, and had the opportunity to connect with our Roomkey program. And I think, your journey is a journey many others have been on, and that is having to balance not only the need to take care of yourself, but to take care of your family and to deal with the uncertainties and vagaries of life. But you're also an example of someone that gets support, finds some stability, that also is a bright light in terms of presenting us a sense of optimism that we can solve these issues as long as we're there to help people in times of need. Perhaps, Jackie, you can fill in the blanks and talk a little bit about your journey.
Thank you, Governor, for having me here.
Thank you.
My name is Jackie. I'm a mother of 7. I've been homeless on the streets for 3 years. Due to being homeless, we lost our kids. We've lost jobs. But thanks to Project Roomkey and the people from the project, now we're in a motel we got our kids back because of this program. It's like now we have all of our 5 kids with us now. It's going on 2 months. We never go without anymore. We always have food. We have roof over our head for now until we get a place. We have a voucher now that they helped us get to get into more stable housing. But the people that run this program are awesome. And I thank you, Governor, so much for making this possible for everybody in California. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. Jackie, tell us, how'd you learn about Roomkey, and when did you get your room?
I was like surfing the internet, and I actually seen you on the news.
Oh gosh.
I don't know where you were at, but you were on the news, and I was like, oh, the governor is actually doing, because we were just thinking about, oh, what if they rent out motel rooms to the homeless people? Like, a lot of people are homeless out here in Tulare County. And yeah, all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're gonna open up motels. And I waited, and I called Veronica White from Tulare County Homeless Alliance. And they said, yeah, that they're gonna have a project it's gonna be Project Roomkey. And like 3 days later, she ended up calling me in April 29th, saying that they have a place for us to stay. And they brought us out here to 99 Palms, and we've been here 5 months. We've grown to love everybody out here, and especially the county workers that run the program. Everybody's just amazing out here.
I love it. Wonderful. Thank you. And thank her and her incredible team. And I think now you're working with her a little bit, right? To be helpful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks for giving back. And as they say, paying forward. That's wonderful, Jackie. Benito, you've been out there couch surfing. You've had an interesting time of it as well. Forgive me, but your age, I think you're a few years younger than I am, just a few. But tell us a little bit about your journey and some of the challenges, but some of the optimism that you can share as well.
Hi, thank you for having me here, first of all. And yes, I'm only a couple years younger. I'm 19, just a couple, not too many years. But yes, besides that, at my 19 years of age, I have been through quite a couple of experiences, but they've helped me become stronger and more independent. I did have to go from one friend's house to another to, find a place to stay during the night. And it was hard for me until Imperial Valley College reached out to me, and they were telling me, you're a good student, your grades are dropping. It impacted me that much, my situation, to where they told me, your grades are dropping, what's going on? And they reached out to me. So IVC was the one that reached out to me. I'm not the type of student that would get involved as much. I like going to events, but not getting involved in like the community where it's like, okay, we're having this program. I go and volunteer sometimes, but not much. So IVC, thanks a lot. I do have like a special shout out for Bianca. She's a counselor here she has impacted my life mainly.
I love it. And Bianca's waving. It's wonderful to have Bianca there. Bianca, can I ask you to unmute and maybe say how you and Benito connected, how you met? We'll try to unmute you in a hundredth of a second here. There you are.
Thank you so much, and nice to meet you, Governor Newsom, as well as all the assembly members and leaders on the call, and our lovely students, Jackie and Benito. So yes, I'm very proud to have Benito speaking on behalf of our homeless students throughout, the Imperial County. He's been such a wonderful pleasure to mentor, and he really is going full circle. So he came to us experiencing a housing crisis and became our student employee, and is now actually going to assist with our Roomkey funded project for student housing. So he's a real blessing to our team, and a shout out back to him for being such a resilient young professional.
I love it. And Bianca, how did you guys happen to meet? Did he just walk in the office one day?
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting Benito by running into him just on campus, struck up a conversation, and then invited him to our campus food pantry, the IBC kitchen. And from that point on, we started working together, mentoring and ensuring that we connected him to our staff, to
I lost everything. The whole screen just blacked out for me. Symbolic, or rather suggestive of the world we're living in currently. I mean, after watching last night's debate, this signing can't come too soon. And so in particular, let me thank everybody for meeting this moment, for all of the hard work that went into creating the moments of deliberative speed and energy and effort to get these bills to my desk. Many of these bills I'm very familiar, have been years and years in the making. In some respects, it's rather sad that I'll be signing a couple of these bills that they weren't addressed decades ago. It's rather remarkable for all of California's leadership, for the leadership of so many of you assembled here today, that we still need to be talking about jury selection. We still need to talk about race in relationship to sentencing guidelines and the like. It's just remarkable that we haven't established these frameworks and these criterias in the past, but I'm very pleased nonetheless that we're finally here and that we have the kind of leadership assembled here on this call that made this all possible. Accordingly, I'm very proud. I don't know, and Dr. Weber, you'll talk more eloquently and more specifically about the reparations bill that you championed, but the fact that we are here at scale, a state as large as ours, advancing this cause where it's not just a question on a questionnaire for a candidate running for office, but it's actually taking shape here, at least the first step. Boy, that's a meaningful moment in this conversation, which as well is so long overdue. And so I couldn't be more honored, more pleased to be here with all of you, more honored and pleased with so many of the champions that are with us. And no further ado, I just want to launch with one of our great champions on not just the issue of racial justice and social justice, but someone who helped advance the moment we celebrated last year around police accountability and so many other extraordinary causes related to racial justice and reconciliation. And that's Dr. Shirley Weber. And Dr. Weber, let's mark this moment, point deep pride for the work you did to get this bill down to my desk and to work with so many constituencies and stakeholders to make this bill possible and to get the support, the broad support, including Republican support, a bipartisan bill on reparation, proving a paradigm that we hope will be resonant all across the United States. Dr. Weber, thank you so much. Turning it over to you.
Thank you, Governor Newsom. I'm really honored to be here and appreciative of the fact that you're signing AB 3121 as well as AB 3070. This is an extremely important time for all of us because we know California tries to lead the way in terms of civil rights, and we have a responsibility to do that. And oftentimes people will say, well, why can't we wait for the federal government to do its part? And I think most folks have waited a while. But we know that California can lead the way, that we can demonstrate what it is to talk about reparations and to try to repair people's lives that we have obviously had a negative impact. California has come to terms with many of its issues, but it has yet to come to terms with its role in slavery. And the fact that that many of our families, my family came to California because they thought this was a golden state with tremendous opportunity. And it was in comparison to coming from Hope, Arkansas. But they also had to come to realization that this state has deeply rooted issues about race and slavery. and that we can demonstrate in what we do through all of our institutions of what it means to be enslaved, the negative impact, and how we need to repair individuals to do that. So we're talking about really addressing the issues of justice and fairness in this country that we have to address. I'm also grateful for the fact that we're also addressing the issue too, this time, of jury selection. We've done a lot of things that most of you mentioned, my bills on the police use of force and racial profiling and all these things we've done. And yet at the same time, we still have to deal with so many other issues, and the jury selection is extremely important. So 3070 is an extremely important bill, just like 2131, to begin to bring the kind of justice and fairness that is necessary. California has a tremendous opportunity. We're the 5th largest economy in the world, and which means if we can do it, others can do it also. And that becomes important as we make this issue an important issue that's there, to try to educate all Californians about the impact of slavery, that after 400 years, we still have that impact. And there's still a need and a necessary opportunity for us to begin to address that issue. So I'm very grateful to you, Governor, for basically seeing these 2 bills that were, that both of them end up being bipartisan, but the the one on reparations was even more bipartisan than the one on jury selection. And yet at the same time, we fought hard every step of the way. I want to thank you for your support in influencing those who eventually at some point had to come across the line. Thanking the Supreme Court justices who helped us to make this a better bill, that to push forward with so many others fighting against us every step of the way for 3070. You know, I always take the hard things in life, and that's what I do because it's important. After spending 40 years as a professor and a founder of Africana Studies at San Diego State, I know the importance of reparations. I know the importance of history, of getting our information correct, and basically beginning to move California forward. I want to thank all of those who are online, as well as so many others. You know, my caucus is here, the Black Caucus. I chair the Black Caucus, and we have been a force this year in terms of social justice and equal opportunity and change. We have pushed the hard bills forward. We have stood strong as a caucus to not only deal with these issues, but as you know, ACA 5, coming forward with Proposition 16 to restore affirmative action to California. Those things are critical, and this caucus has stood firm on every one of those issues. And so I want to thank my caucus members who've come in today. We're a small caucus. We're one of the smallest caucuses. There's only 10 of us, yet we are 10 powerful individuals making a difference in California. And I want people to understand that there are only 10 African Americans in the legislature, the Senate and the Assembly. And yet we as a force, a collective force, have pushed forth the kind of legislation that really makes a difference. And we thank our colleagues for joining us from the Chicano Caucus, the API Caucus, the Women's Caucus, who've joined us in making a difference. I want to thank, I see one of our real champions, Ice Cube, who's online, who's on with us today. I want to thank him also for all of his tweets and all of his words that came forward to push us to say, listen, the nation is watching and we need this to be done. And so I'm so appreciative of not only you taking time to do that, but you're taking time out of your day to be with us. So I'm very proud of the fact that we have 2 bills that will really make a difference in California. And we have so many others that are on our list that are also being signed by the governor. But to sign 3121 is groundbreaking for the United States. To basically say this state is going to deal with the issue of reparations, and we're going to make a difference as a result of it, and truly focus upon this issue that has been a part of California's issue. And of course, 3070 to really begin to change jury selections in California is critically important. So I'm excited about being here today. I want to thank you so very much, all of you who worked so hard on this bill, my staff, the members of the caucus, the other staff persons who worked hard, the governor's office to get this bill forward, to get it done, and to get it now to be getting it signed in California makes a tremendous difference. It is going to be an exciting opportunity with both of these bills to make a difference and to begin to move the agenda. I want to let people know, first of all, that this bill, both of these bills were done before the Floyd incident, was done before the pandemic. I want you to understand that, because some people think these are issues that just came forward and it was the right time at the right moment. These bills were done last year. We authored these bills at the end of last year, and we were pushing these bills forward when all of the issues of the COVID virus and everything else came forward. So this is not just because of the circumstances we face. What happens, of course, is those circumstances reinforced the fact that what we were saying all along was true, that we needed to deal with these issues that in terms of our community, but these did not come because of that. but they help to reinforce the fact that this is truth and that it's a necessity for us to address it. So I want to make sure that's clear, because some people think we're just responding to the moment. We're responding to the history of California and the life of Black people in California and in this nation that has to be addressed every day, and not simply because we're obviously faced with the challenge of trying to appease individuals to make them believe that we're going to move forward. This is because of the necessity of where we are. So I want to thank all of you who've come. I want to thank the governor and the council and the many those who worked on these two bills. I'm proud to be the author, proud to be chair of the caucus, the Black Caucus, of the California Legislative Black Caucus, and the powerful group that they are, and the colleagues who've helped us so much. It gives me great pleasure to then present to you my other colleague, my comrade in the struggle, Ash Kaura, who is also presenting AB 2542, which I'm proud to say that I am a co-author of that bill as well. So I am glad to present to you Mr. Ash Kaura.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Weber, for the kind introduction and for being our moral compass, our guiding light in the Capitol, encouraging all of us to always strive for justice for all. Thank you, Governor Newsom, for your incredible leadership. This is a momentous and historic occasion, not just for California, but for our nation. At a time when our nation is once again struggling to confront racism in all forms, the actions taken today will help to put in place critical and meaningful tools needed to combat and root out institutional racism. It comes, of course, amid a renewed national focus on racial discrimination in the criminal justice system. With this action today, we pronounce that we are no longer afraid of too much justice. This is a transformational moment in our nation's history, where we are not simply tinkering around the edges, but are starting a sincere journey of rooting out the institutional racism ingrained in our criminal justice system. Many of you know that for over a decade, I worked as a deputy public defender and saw firsthand thousands of Black and Latino lives were subjected to the worst of the systemic racism that oftentimes did not see their humanity, a system rooted in generations of oppression. However, you clearly do not need that firsthand experience to see the change that is desperately needed in our society, as evidenced by Governor Newsom taking these bold steps today. I cannot put into words how momentous the signing of the Racial Justice Act is in redesigning a criminal justice system that emphasizes justice, and I'm incredibly inspired and grateful to you, Governor. These actions are just some of many you have taken during your tenure in office to demonstrate that you are serious about correcting wrongs from generations past. We are living up to the lofty expectations we put on ourselves as Californians, and I hope to see our actions today spread across the nation. Here in California, we don't simply hold up signs that say Black Lives Matter or symbolically call for a national movement for justice without first looking at ourselves in the mirror and actually transforming those righteous calls for change into action. We are meeting the moment that has been placed before us with courage, thanks to your leadership, Mr. Governor. I want to thank all the sponsors and coalition partners who worked tirelessly for months, as well as the work of my staff. Similarly to what Dr. Weber said about the bills that are presented by her, this bill was not introduced after the torture and murder of George Floyd. It was introduced before because we see this as a problem that's been around for far too long. Now, of course, with the resurgence of a Black liberation uprising and a call for compassion and for true justice in our court systems and across our entire justice system, the time was right for us to continue to plow ahead. And I want to thank, again, all of our sponsors who, this was a roller coaster of a bill. It was dead on arrival at one point. We brought it back to life. And I'm just so grateful to all of you. I'm also grateful to my legislative colleagues like Dr. Weber. I want to give a specific shout out to Senator Holly Mitchell, who presented the bill on the floor of the Senate. So grateful for her leadership as well. And I'm just so thrilled that we're here today to be able to sign all these incredible bills that once again put California at the forefront of really combating systemic racism and standing for racial justice. Once again, I want to thank you, Governor Newsom, for your courageous actions today. And someday we're going to look back at this day And in the words of one of our legendary California poets, say, today was a good day.
That's right.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Zach Norris, Executive Director of the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, and an incredible advocate for all the work we're doing in the Capitol. Thank you, Zach.
Right on. Thank you, Assemblymember Kalra, and thank you, Dr. Weber. What an honor. What an honor it is to be able to get to speak to you all on this historic occasion. I am the Executive Director of the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights based in Oakland, California, and I'm here mostly to talk as one of the co-sponsors of the Racial Justice Act, but I would be remiss to not acknowledge Dr. Weber's leadership, not just in terms of the Racial Justice Act as the co-author, but for Assembly Bill 3121. As a descendant of people enslaved in this country, as the grandson of grandparents who fled racialized terror from Osaka, Mississippi, and came here to California and experienced discrimination and worse still on this West Coast. I am just incredibly appreciative of your leadership. But I mostly want to speak about the bill that we co-sponsored, this Racial Justice Act. And I want to be honest with y'all, because I didn't believe we would make it this far with this act, if I'm being honest, Assemblymember Carver. Yeah. Because, you know, seeing racial disparities is what led me to this work. I went to Harvard as an undergrad, and I saw just how differently young people could be treated when they were in that esteemed institution versus my friends and family in East Oakland, often for doing some of the same things. And being an advocate and having learned about this work, I know that it's not just across races, but also among races that these racial disparities show up. So even among African Americans, the lighter your skin is, the lighter your sentence is likely to be. And that is something that I have had to really grapple with as a light-skinned African American. What is my charge in this movement? These disparities have seemed immutable, inchangeable, indestructible. When the Supreme Court in 1987 in McCleskey versus Kemp voted to uphold structural racism in our courts, our esteemed Justice William Brennan said, it seems that they have a fear of too much justice. But as Michelle Alexander said in her powerful Sacramento Bee op-ed, there is no such thing as too much justice. And we will challenge the racial injustice in the criminal court system. And the Racial Justice Act provides a mechanism to do that. To be honest, I never say criminal justice system, right? We always say criminal court system. But this bill gives me hope that one day we will have a justice system that deserves to have justice in its title. So I want to thank Assemblymember Kalra, Dr. Weber, all of the co-sponsors of this bill, American Friends Service Committee, Asian Americans Advancing Justice, California Coalition for Women Prisoners, Californians United for a Responsible Budget, the League of Women Voters, NextGen, United Domestic Workers, AFSCME Local 3930. All of us were driven by the experience of people who have been themselves injured by crushing racism, who themselves have been incarcerated or are currently incarcerated. We are attorneys, advocates. We are folks who are looking to and benefiting from an analysis that goes beyond white papers and really goes to our own experience. And in that, I want to thank the leadership of Amber Rose, Howard of Curb, of Marilyn Ralston at the California Coalition of Women Prisoners, my colleagues, Derek Morgan and Emily Harris, and Natasha Minsker at the Death Penalty Coalition and Smart Justice California. Thank you, Reform Alliance, for the nudge and assist to get this across the finish line. And Assemblymember Ash Kalra for your determination and your dedication, because you got the ball rolling. And when it was stuck behind a big boulder, you moved it around that boulder and kept it rolling. And I want to thank all of the folks who have been in the streets, not just this year, but the past 20 years and the past 200 plus years in Capitol buildings, in street corners, making sure that our policies reflect the truth that Black Lives Matter. I would name more individuals, but we're already past time. And there is one individual whose leadership can make these bills get transformed into law. So Governor Newsom, I'm passing it to you to please sign these bills. Thank you, Governor.
I appreciate it. I appreciated the Harvard name drop, Zach, too. You had to get Harvard in there. Rub it in, man. I'm on to you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the work you guys have done at Ella Baker, and thank you all of the people that you recognize as well, Zach. That was important to do. And again, in particular, let me just thank the assembly members that really brought this thing to not only the floor, but brought it down to my desk. I'd be remiss, and some member Holden, I didn't know if you would be on here. I assumed you would. But if we're going to talk about racial justice package, then I got to consider one of the bills you put down to my desk, which I happen literally to have on my desk. And I might as well take this moment to acknowledge your leadership on that corporate board bill. When we talk about racial justice, we talk about empowerment, we talk about power. We need to talk about seats at the table. And Assembly Member, I'm looking forward to signing this bill in a moment as well. Why don't you talk a moment about it?
Well, first of all, thank you, Governor. I know that I'm very privileged to be serving with colleagues who have a vision about how the state can be an example for the rest of the country and the world. We have a president who cannot even deny racist groups in America. We are made to feel kind of heavy laden by that. But then I come to this meeting this morning, this conference, where you're signing bills that are definitely setting an example for the rest of this country to follow, and that I'm proud to live in a state that recognizes the needs of all of its people. And for a state to have over 600 corporations headquartered, it is far time past that we needed to have an opportunity to see people of color serve at the corporate board level, the directors level. And certainly the spirit of this bill, I believe, will cause companies to move quickly to start bringing on headhunters who are headhunter groups that are owned and operated by people of color, African Americans, Latino, Asian. And this is an opportunity really to get people of color at the table where the decisions are made, where the culture is set, where opportunities for all people to have an opportunity to come through the front door and have a job opportunity throughout the organization. And I think this is a first of its kind, if you will, in the nation. And I'm proud that you are the governor that is showing the bold leadership to bring it to fruition. So I just thank you for your leadership. I thank my colleagues, the CLBC, for their endorsement of this bill and helping to move it along, for my joint authors, Christina Garcia, David Chu, and Eloise Reyes, as well as Senator Ben Hueso, and also the companies that jumped on very quickly, two in particular, HP and Bloom Energy, that are leading by example. When you put pen to paper on this bill, they will already be in compliance with the bill. And so I just want to recognize that. I want to recognize the 4 constitutional officers who have also weighed in support, Ricardo Lara, Betty Yee, Fiona Ma, and Alex Padilla, who will be a part of helping to give guidance to this bill as we go forward. So with that, without further ado, I would thank you, Governor, and we look forward to this new day in California as you complete these justice bills that are going to make a difference to addressing systemic racism and hopefully sending a good positive message across these 50 states.
I appreciate it, Member, and thanks for bringing up HP and Bloom. It's interesting. CEOs of both those companies don't just support the bill; they were advocates. They tracked down my cell phone, got me on. They want to hear my voice. They made a strong case, strong argument, and that's very meaningful when you have leadership by example in those 2 iconic California based companies. And so we do indeed hope others will take the spirit, not just the letter of the law, but the spirit of what we're trying to advance here and move forward. You've got an implementation strategy here that is a number of years. That doesn't need to, we don't need to wait 2, 3, 4 years for folks to move. They have the ability to do the right thing and do so now. And so I appreciate all of your energy and the privilege of getting this to my desk. Look, all of you, thank you again for everything you're doing. I see my old town district attorney in San Francisco. Thank you for joining as well and your strong advocacy for all of these bills. I can go now. I'm gonna get in trouble. Ann's there, Scott. I'm gonna, yeah, Reggie. I'm gonna have to say hi to everybody. Shonda, Dan Seaman, who's on here, who did a lot of good work on this. Some of these bills. All of you, spectacular. And Ice Cube, I don't know how the hell he knew I was signing half these bills before I even told my staff. He said, "I'll see you tomorrow." I'm glad you're signing these things. So well done, and thank you for your advocacy as well. No further ado, let's just jump right in. And I got AB 3121. Dr. Weber, your bill, and we'll just start here by signing this.
Done deal.
Done deal. In the
Reparations.
spirit, Dr. Weber, in the spirit of some of these bills and spirit of your comments and some of the comments from Matt, I think it was Pericles who said, "We do not imitate, for we are a model to the world." Now that's a little braggadocious, but it's in the spirit of Governor Brown quoting the Greeks. I think Pericles was the Athenian mayor who said that. And so I like the spirit of what you guys are saying. This is not just about California. This is about making an impact and a dent across the rest of the country. And that, I think, drives a lot of our work here in the state. And I know it drives a lot of the passion of many of you that are with us. AB 3070, again, in that same spirit. And Washington State's done a little work on this, and I want to thank them as well for their leadership. We got that bill signed as well. Thank you.
Good deal. Good.
And thank you. And us and someone, Carla, 2542.
Yes.
For all your hard work on this. Thank you for your perseverance, not giving up and giving in to the arbiters of the status quo. Well done, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. And if someone holding 979, well done, and builds on the work you guys did last year with Governor Brown or 2 years ago on gender equity on boards. Privilege for me to sign this bill as well. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you for your great work. Real privilege. Pleasure to be with you all today and to sign those bills. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Governor, thank you so much.